Hello, welcome to Bonneville's Energy Efficiency Tracking System training. In this video, I will walk you through the BEETS Reports Portal. This is where you'll be running utility reports on your BEETS activity. BEETS Reports Portal is logged in through a web browser, just as BEETS. When you're first attempting to log into the Reports Portal, you will be instructed in our training guide to first reset your password inside BEETS. This allows the Reports Portal to synchronize your username and password between the two websites, so you only need to maintain one username and password. I am logging into the Reports Portal using the Google Chrome browser, which is a preferred browser for this service. However, other browsers will work. You may just have a different login experience. As I've logged in, I am logged in as a BPA user, so the folder structure will be slightly different, but you'll be able to locate your reports relatively easily. The BEETS Reports Portal is hosted on a platform called the SQL Server Reporting Services, or SSRS for short, as referred to in our training documentation. This is a Microsoft product used for reporting purposes. When you first log in, you'll log in and click through several folders to find the reports you're looking for. You will have a folder in here titled Utility Reports. I have the same reports in the administration folder, so I'm going there. Inside, I have more reports that BPA uses. However, there are several reports in here that will be in your utility folder, to include the BPA activity report, the BPA UES utility grouper report, and the BPA C2 utility grouper report. I'll walk you through each of these reports. We'll start with the activity report first. The activity report is a record of all of the applications that have been created in BEETS. You have several filter criteria when you're running a report available to you. I'll walk you through what each of these mean. The very first required fields for creating a report are the top two. This is application created from date to application created to date. So you will first have to set parameters for when your applications were entered into your system that you're looking for. If you want to go back in history, you could set your time early. Otherwise, if you're looking for a specific month of activity, you could select the dates from the start date to the end date. So I have selected October activity through today. The next four boxes here are not required. You'll note there's these null selections. However, if you are looking for something specific, for example, if you're only looking for things that were invoiced in the system, you could set dates for those. I'm going to mark them null for now. Or you could also search by completion dates. I'll mark them null as well here. If you're a utility user, likely you only have one utility in your dropdown. Some users do have more than one. I've got all our utilities built into mine, but I'll narrow it down to one of our test utilities, and I'll use that we call Bonneville Expedition. So you'll select your utility, and then if you're looking for specific programs, you have the option to select which programs you're looking for applications in. I will select them all. The next specific drop-down is not necessarily needed to be used or checked. It is a way that the data is broken up in the database, but you can leave it as select all. You won't need to modify that. And if you are looking for specific statuses in programs that you wanted to do some research on, the drop-down does allow it. I'll select all. And lastly, if you wanted to filter down to a specific sector, you can do that as well, or you can select all. Note, you also have the option to run the report and extract it, which I'll show you how, and then run your own filters in Excel. But this does allow you to conveniently search for something specific in the interface. Your next step is to hit the View Report button. This likely will take some time to load depending on how much data the system is researching. The next step was it will display you the report in the interface, and note the activity report has two separate sections to it located over here in your document map. There is a project tab, which is project level data for your applications, and then there is a measure tab, which is measure level data for your project. Some programs have project with multiple measures. That's where you'll find the details for the measures in the measure tab. UES applications is one measure per project, so you'll likely see that the data match between the two tabs. You have the option to navigate through SSRS using the interface. Just note your parameters that you established at the top of your screen are listed here on your report, and you can navigate through and research your report. Most people prefer to save and export this data into Excel. I'll show you how to do that. You're going to click here at the little disk icon, and this allows you to export this file into various formats depending on your use. I'll export into Excel. The system's going to generate that, and you'll note here in Google Chrome, it pops it down here at the bottom. Other browsers may put your download somewhere else. That allows you to open up this report into a native piece of software and let you manipulate the data or extract it for other purposes. Here you can see the same report is now displayed in Excel, and you'll see there's two different tabs, Project and Measure. BPA has historically provided activity report type data via request to your Bonneville representatives. In this case, you're now able to run these reports on your own at your discretion. We've provided a listing of various data fields from the system that generally provide what has been requested from utilities in the past. So you'll be able to search through and see many of the common names of fields that you're familiar with inside the applications. And then, of course, we provide you with savings and payment data in here as well. You'll become familiar with the details of this report as you have time to run it. Again, the project level is a rolled up view of a single application inside the system. So if it is a project with multiple measures, on the project tab, you would see the total incentive and savings listed for that project. If you migrate to the measure tab, you'll see each measure for each project is listed here. And you can either sort that by using the BEETS application number, or in some cases you may have a project name that you're looking for, and that commonality of the project would allow you to narrow it down to the specific measures. The activity report is provided, it does provide data from the BEETS system. However, please note, the data that is in the SSRS system, or the BEETS Reports Portal, lags BEETS by 1 day. What that means is the data you'll find in your reports is updated overnight when you run the report. So actions taken today in BEETS will not be inside your reports in the BEETS Reports Portal until the next day. This is something very important to note. You'll find the data updates in the evening and after business hours. So first thing the next day, you'll see your data has been updated in the reports. This is the activity report. I'll navigate back over to the SSRS or BEETS Reports Portal application and show you the other reports as well. You have the option to navigate a few different ways. I typically kind of go back up, and this is sort of the folder structure that I click through. So going back to my administration folder, I'll go down and we'll look at the BEETS UES Utility Grouper report, and I'll speak to the C2 Utility Grouper report when I run this report as well. These two reports are being provided to utilities in order to be able to run a detailed analysis of bulk loaded programs. So bulk loaded programs being UES, and for our option 2 customers who do their custom projects through a bulk template as well. So these are, you've used our Excel templates, you've got lots of applications that were created from those templates when they were imported into BEETS. This allows you then to match up what the system has done and created for applications to what you have loaded on your Excel template. So if I'm looking for the applications I loaded on Monday into the UES program, I will find that I can see all of my applications and the statuses they are in inside this report. So here I've selected, again, application created from dates to to dates. I've picked my utility. I've selected the statuses I want to run the report in. In this case, I've got no results. I must have not had anything loaded on that day that I selected. Expand my selection here and see if, well, actually, I probably should go back a little bit further. Make sure I show some data. So it looks like we had some data loaded into our test utility. And this allows me now to see everything that I imported from the UES measure template. What details did the system find? So I'm going to export this again because I find it easier to use in Excel. Allow me filter by columns. So in this case, I'm going to set up enable my Excel editing. Allow you to then set filters in Excel, and then I can begin searching in my data. So if I'm looking to find out how many applications do I know I need to work on, it looks like I've got a bunch here. So on the 17th, looks like we loaded maybe a couple days here, so I'll filter down to just a one day to represent. On the 17th, I must have loaded a bunch of applications, the UES program, and it appears that there are 11 of them in revisions required, meaning I need to go into the system and take action on those. You would be getting emails from the system informing you of that, but if you did want to run a report, this provides that detail as well. In addition, in this report, that highlights each application is, one row is an application. This is telling you each application has, in this case, are in revisions required status. And here it's telling me what is wrong. Why is that in revisions required? Okay, this one's missing my ref or is it bad ref that I provided? Or it looks like maybe I've used a ref here that wasn't valid at the time of my completion date that I submitted. So this gives me a sense, again, of what's wrong with my applications. Again, this is provided in the BEETS, and you would be getting email notifications, but this provides you a quick summary of everything that you need to work on. In addition, it is going to pull in the RefNo and some RefNo details that help you map this back to what you were attempting to report. In addition, the system is also going to give you the details of what calculations were run on these. So in the case of these applications, it provides me what the system calculations were. So if it's telling me my reimbursement amounts, it's providing me eligible performance payments, savings figures, etc. You'll notice some of these are blank. That's likely because of the revisions that are required are saying, I don't have that RefNo, I can't provide you any of that data. So until I fix those issues, it's probably going to be blank in my report. So if you were looking again to understand that I loaded a bunch of stuff on October 17th, I'll pull this back to show all my applications I loaded on the 17th, and you wanted to verify, okay, did all the applications that I submitted, did they come into the system? I submitted 26. Sure did. All 26 are there. In addition, if you were looking to reconcile what you might have been tracking for how much reimbursement you were expecting to receive, you could summarize it in this report. And the same goes for savings. This functionality of these grouper reports is to mimic some of the functionality in the current summarizer tool that provides you a tally of your savings and payments based on what you were submitting to Bonneville. So this provides you kind of multiple purposes. One, again, to be able to give you a summary of all the applications that you had submitted on that day, and also allows you to kind of reconcile some of the data and give you feedback from what has been submitted into the system. Navigating back to SSRS, the BPA C2 utility grouper report, again, is for our option 2 customers who use a template to submit their custom projects in bulk. It's very similar to the UES utility grouper report in functionality. It's providing you those details summarizing your imported applications. There will be additional reports provided over time as we build out the BEETS system. For now, those are the reports that are accessible to utilities and that can be run at any time. And just remember, the data in those reports will lag what's in the system by one day. This concludes the demonstration on the BEETS Reports portal. Thank you.